And just like that, there was a revolution. When the coronavirus pandemic came, we had to think of new ways to do things, new ways to teach, new ways to get jobs, new ways to get food. And the world stepped up. America stepped up. There haven't been any major revolutions in education really for a very long time. We had the technological revolution in the early 2000s. Before that, the Industrial Revolution. That's about it. That was what education was geared for. Classrooms today, up until March 13th or so, 2020, looked pretty much like they did in 1920. I mean, besides some things that came up to date, maybe kids were sitting in groups instead of at desks facing the front. Some of our instructional methods, shifted to support current day learners, but we knew technology was moving fast and we had to move faster. So as distance learning started to take off, those of us who wanted to try it out or saw a reason to use it would use it. And when I was a teacher in the classroom, I certainly used it at every opportunity. I flipped lessons. I pushed them out on YouTube. I wanted to do something to help the world beyond my classroom. And now, with the coronavirus pandemic, we aren't in classrooms today. So the schoolhouse walls have again shifted. Previously, students spent most of their school time at school in a school building. And sometimes, at home doing homework, the schoolhouse walls was expanded because of technology. However, that balance is now opposite. The schoolhouse walls are now mostly within the home. And this is a huge shift within our current educational paradigm. Teachers are teaching from their homes, and students are learning within their homes. Families are in the middle, doing their best they can to help their children learn, while also maintaining whatever sense of normalcy their lives afford at the moment, whether it's working because they're an essential employee, or whether it's just keeping house and making sure everybody in the family has what they need. The coronavirus pandemic has caused an explosion of innovation. It is only because we have technology that we're able to expand our classrooms, expand our schoolhouse walls into the homes on such a drastic level and so quickly. When this pandemic finally curbs, we won't be able to unlearn what we have already learned here with technology and education. Teachers will have so many new tools available to them while they continue to teach within a school and continue to reach learners who they've struggled to reach before. However we look at it, once we get back into school, we'll have to look for our new normal. From this precautionary lifestyle that the pandemic has afforded us, there's going to be an explosion of creativity, an explosion of the arts, an explosion of people being able to produce new things because our minds right now have time to think about those things. Well, there are many more minds thinking about arts and creative endeavors and having time to do arts and creative endeavors like never before. One example is involving the private sector to problem solve some of today's current healthcare needs. Involving the private sector means involving more resources, more people, and giving them more freedom to problem solve. In education, it means when we think about teaching learners, how are we going to reach them? Today's teachers are working so hard to determine the different ways they can reach their learners, and there are so many. And there are going to be so many more that develop. The teachers and the students will then have resources like never before. This is a really exciting time in our history. Health is, of course, our #1 priority. Preparing for the coronavirus pandemic has provided unprecedented opportunities like never before. The coronavirus pandemic has created an urgency, both within the medical field and also within education. So much innovation and excitement toward learning and motivation. Everyone feels this sense of urgency. The urgency produces a motivation, a drive to do things that we've never done before, not on this huge global scale. People who hardly ever touch computers are video conferencing. They're setting up online groups and doing online lessons. And they're doing it with minimal support. Internet companies, cell phone companies are working very hard to try to get all people access. What's more is the government is supporting this in a lot of cases. This is another example of the private sector jumping in to help and being supported by the government. When we work together, there are so many things that we're going to be able to do. Most immediately, the goal on everyone's mind is to fight this pandemic. And while we do so, we want to keep things as normal for our kids and our families as we possibly can. We want them to eat, we want them to learn, and we want them to be emotionally well.